So I'm out in windy central Kansas meeting up with a couple of guys I met on the internet. What could possibly go wrong? Welcome back to OG's Danger Show. Kansas. I was invited out here by Mark from the Fit and Fire channel. Mark, go ahead, step in here.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Mark might have the mic here, so who knows?
I'll just talk really loud.
Mark wanted to do some lever action. So I brought out with me the two 45-70 rifles that we've seen on previous videos. Mark's got a 30-30, 357 rifle. We're going to give them all a try out here. So I have three different loads that I want to try out today that were sent into the show by different viewers. Skeeter from Tennessee, Nick Ross, who sent in some rounds to the Tailflater Mouse channel, and then also David Dickinson has sent me some rounds that he developed. David's a fan of the Pat RMG channel, so if you guys haven't checked out the Pat RMG channel, that is the lever action king. It is, yeah. Everything. Yep. We're children compared to Pat with the lever actions. So I'm going to put a link right up here in the corner of the video. The Pat's channel, go over and check him out if you really like lever action stuff. He's your man. So without further ado, it's freezing out here. It's windy.
It's cool.
We're going to run all of these rounds through a 45-70s, but we're going to run them through a chronograph to get some speed tests on them. We're also going to print them downrange at about 25 or 50 yards to see what kind of accuracy they get. And then the work part is we bought several expired pork butts this morning, and we're going to blow up some meat for you. So let's get to it. So the first order of business on day one was to try out Mark's new Marlin 336.
Still trying to figure out this whole lever action. All right, here we go.
Got it.
Yep.
Look at that splatter on that thing.
Yeah.
Wow. The Marlin 336 is chambered in 30-30, which is a very popular hunting round in the United States. Right there.
Yeah. So we're calling it. I'm going to call that good.
Mark also wanted to group this rifle on cardboard at about 50 yards. We wanted to chronograph these 30-30 rounds, but more importantly, we wanted to see what they would do in some pork butts, to see what kind of damage they would do to targets made out of meat.
2,500.
What's it rated for? Is that that seem normal for that round?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. They're calling 2390.
Oh yeah, then you're in there then. Man.
2543.
All the same hole.
So that one right there has definitely got to be one. That is a.
You can see the significant divot. Mark also took me by his local gun shop, American Cash Exchange in Manhattan, Kansas, because he wanted to borrow one of the owner's 357 lever action rifles for us to test. And I'd like to thank the guys over at American Cash Exchange in Manhattan, Kansas for providing me with my ear pro. I flew all the way out to Kansas and forgot my ears. So when I went in there to buy some, they said, we're just going to give you a whole little set of these things. So, well, we had so much stuff to shoot and so many guns to shoot it with that we had to go back for day two. Well, central Kansas on day two was less windy, but of course we experienced overcast conditions and even some drizzly rain. Well, the first order of business on day two was to put Mark's 30-06 against some pork shoulder and see what kind of damage it would do. It was rather impressive. Nice. Yeah. Look at those clean little entry holes through the skin. And big gnarly exit wounds. That's some good stuff. So the first 4570 rounds I like to feature were sent in by Nick Ross. Nick sent these over to the Tau Fledermaus channel a few months back. These things vary from these little tiny blue 39 grain 45 caliber rounds all the way up to these flat nose and hollow point rounds that Nick made for us, weighing in at 545 grains. Over here on the left, you're going to see some of the bigger, heavier, kind of a bear penetrating round that are coming in at 560 grains. We're going to fire them through this Marlin 1895 for accuracy. We're going to chronograph them, and then we're going to see what they will do to some expired pork butt. The first one we're going to send down range is his little, he says this is a 35 grain, what did you say? 39 grain, it's got to be heavier than that. 39 grain. Yep. We'll give it a try here, see what we can do. Got a chronograph error on that lightweight one, so let's move on to the hollow points. Nick claims that these hollow points are running at, I believe this was the 1400 feet per second. That thing's fun to shoot. All right, Skeeter sent in these rounds to me. These are a nice big gas-checked lead hollow point. Look at that big old giant ashtray. It's a GT bullet, over 320 grains, gas checked bullet loaded with 53 grains of IMR 3031. So he said they've been pretty accurate. Is Henry. We're going to give them a try here in my Marlin. First thing we're going to do is chronograph them. I almost hate to use all these up because beautiful bullets like that should be kept in the inventory for the day the zombies attack. But let's go ahead and try them out of the Marlin. 1869, that's the best one. So David Dickinson sent in 3 different loads here. First one we're going to try is a 325 grain brass solid round, a penetrator round, 1900 feet per second he's saying on these things. So I'm going to show you what these look like. Look at that big old monster.
That's what she said.
That's a beautiful bullet work there. Let's see if we can get 1900 feet per second out of these. That's pretty much on the dot there, David. That whole, we'll give you that 6 feet per second variance there. Let's try one more. I'll put the projectile out here so that you can get a close-up of what that little thing looks like. Next one we're going to move up to is David Dickinson's. These are a maker bullet. He's advertising these at 1,020 feet per second out of a 22-inch barrel, which is what I got here. 500 grain. This is a 500 grain round. This is the projectile he puts in it. That beautiful hollow point. That thing's almost as long as my dang finger. Wow, very light recoil on that one. I got 930 feet per second on that one. 971, so fairly consistent. Just a little bit slower than David was getting out of his gun. So I like that. It's actually pleasant to shoot because it's there's not a lot of recoil. And Mark will tell you behind the camera, we beat ourselves up yesterday shooting just a handful of 4570s. Last one we're going to try from David is his, what he calls his flamethrower round. This is a 300 grain T-Rex supersonic, 47 grains of accurate 1680. David claims to be getting 2,000 feet per second out of this, out of a 22-inch Henry. So we're going to try it out of my 22-inch Marlin. This is funny because he advises in his little note to move the chronograph way back that this is a flamethrower of a round. So this is the one we're going to be shooting. There's the projectile, and there's the loaded round. We'll try 2 of them just for chronograph purposes. Lord, I can see the flash in the muzzle through the scope.
Didn't read. Got 475 through there.
Try that again. We might have burnt your chronograph flame. right, the Flamethrower. 1930. Well, next I ran all of these rounds through the 4570 for accuracy on a Birchwood Casey shoot and see target. This actually kind of surprises me because I'm not all that good of a shot. I'm relatively new to lever action rifles anyway. The 4570 has been beating up my shoulder all day. First round over here, the T-Rex round, hit about 1 o'clock. What we shoot next, the Flamethrower round hit at 12 o'clock right next to its buddy, and then the brass round down here. So very consistent accuracy, all of them in that soda can size circle there. So I'm pretty impressed. Let's check this out. Oh, crap. Holy God. So we just found this. This was unintentional. We try not to destroy other people's ranges, but that solid brass round went through here, struck the steel beam. I mean, that's some steel angle iron there. You can see the brass that it left as it carved its way through into our backstop. Good Lord. That thing would eat all the way through a Honda. And now the stuff you've really been waiting for. Let's put all of these different 4570 rounds into some pork shoulder and see what kind of destruction we can get. Yeah! Now, since it's very tough to run an entire afternoon with a 4570, we put Mark's executive producer, cameraman, showrunner, Hefe, to the task of running a bunch of these rounds for us while we took a break. How's that recoil? Isn't that fun?
Not too bad, actually.
Next up, we're going to shoot one of Nick's hollow points and then actually one of the 560 grain solid projectiles into a pork butt. See what kind of damage we'll do. Let's go ahead and send the hollow point first, and then if we have anything left over, we'll put the solid round right behind it. Same pork butt. Wow. So we just shot another pork butt with a 30-30. It was a lighter, faster bullet, shot right through, did some tremendous damage, but went zipped right through. This 4570 kicked this thing like a linebacker, and look at that. Uh-oh. Mark, I scratched your table here.
Oh, no.
Not only that, but it looks like it's pushed
Oh, yeah, the shock.
downward.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we
shattered
hit
that.
Yeah, look at that. That is the bone in there. I don't even know where the entrance is on this thing. It was just such a
Violent, yeah.
violent impact. It kicked it right off the table.
Right there.
So it hit it low. That was my fault. That's probably why I skipped it at the back of the table. You can see here the difference in calibers. A 30-30. This is why people use 30-30 in the U.S. to hunt deer, because you're not destroying the entire piece of meat. You're absolutely doing the damage you need to do to stop an animal of that size. But over here, we stopped an animal the size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not only is it freezing cold out here, but I'm putting freaking Clorox wipes on my fingers. All right, well now it's time to try Nick's solid projectile. This is obviously a penetrating round and not really a meat damaging round, but let's see if we can destroy what's left of that center pork shoulder. It's funny to see that meat dance up off the table. That's how much energy it's. I mean, imagine taking your foot and just kicking a meat the size of a football. That's how much energy is lifting that thing up in that rifle round. Pretty sure this is the new stuff up here. Skin was shredded. That was a solid projectile, so it flew right on through. Most of this damage was done before with a hollow point. Who even knows? All I know is 2 rounds of that stuff that Nick cooked up. You could destroy just about anything in North and South America. Man, look at that shattered bone in there. Now, for those of you hall monitors that say we shouldn't be destroying good food, you are correct. That's why we used some Walmart pork butt. All right, these are the Skeeter made out of a GT bullets. Remember, GT bullets is the projectile out of these. Skeeter loaded these up, and he says they work excellent on deer and hogs out of his Henry. So we're going to give these a try against a fresh pork butt and see what they'll do, what kind of damage. We literally have pieces of meat flew clear back here at 10 yards away. Also, about 15, 20 yards past the table, we have meat just flung out there. And here is what's left. Skeeter, I don't think we're going to get a second shot at this piece of meat. That's now a big giant, what the kids call meat curtains. Look at that thing. Open it right up. So
yeah. You can't do your little finger dongle.
No, there's not much to, no OG finger wiggle on this. It's just a big curtain of meat. It took a big solid chunk of meat, basically just tore it right open. So.
Oh man, look what it did to the table too. Look at that.
Did it again?
Yeah.
Shit. Mark, I owe you a table.
No, you don't. No, this is good.
But that kind of just shows you too what the damage, the amount of pressure that meat is under exploding. We see it pop up, but it's shoving that much damage down into the table too, and broke this table, which had already been shot, but just crushed this particle board underneath. So if your friend ever asks you to hold a pork butt while he shoots it, tell him no. If I'm not mistaken, this was the skin portion that was facing us, so that's probably our entrance wound. And then everything here is our exit wound. So Skeeter, that is some good damage, buddy. I don't know what exactly you eat on your deer after you're done, but you probably run down to McDonald's and get a hamburger because there's not much deer left. We're going to shoot next David Dickinson's Flamethrower round. We saw this round out through the Crony, and it does throw a flame. He's advertising it at 2,000 feet per second. It is a 300 grain T-Rex bullet. Nice segmented hollow point here. So those segments should shear off and create some just massive damage. Let's give it a try through a pork butt. All right, David, one of those flamethrowers against the pork butt. I think you know what these are going to do, but we have some high hopes. I bet you we're going to wreck that piece of meat. Maybe even Mark's table. Let's give it a try. We have, folks, there is a chunk of meat that flew 50 yards. We're actually 50 yards away from that little street pile down there. 50 yards away, it threw a chunk of meat about the size of a baseball or softball. Another big piece fell on the ground. We can immediately see the entrance hole. That's pretty gruesome. And I'll show you too, this from our other test. This is a 30-30 entrance hole, nice and clean, made a nice precise hit through skin. There's what a 45-70 hollow point does through skin. Same exact tough pork skin. And then just carved its way right through here and blew the whole back out of the meat. The back of this pork shoulder is out through there. Chunks of it, and way out there. So that's pretty impressive stuff, David. That's a hell of a round. The Flamethrower. Do not use in dry brush.
Where was that other piece?
There's one right here.
Oh my goodness.
And then if you'll turn the camera and look, we're 50 yards away from that shooting table. So that's some impressive energy.
In line with the...
Yeah, 50 yards downrange. That is pretty damn impressive, David. Wow. David has asked us to point out that he's a friend of the Pat RMG channel. So if you're not already a subscriber, go over and check out Pat's channel. He's actually very knowledgeable about lever action rifles. I mean, pretty much the guru on lever action rifles. And Pat knows a whole lot. Pat knows more about lever action rifles than I could ever dream of. So go over and check out his channel and give him a subscribe. Well, that about wraps it up for us today. Appreciate you guys stopping by OG's Danger Show and
Fit and Fire.
Fit and Fire. So I'm going to put a link up here on Danger Show over to Mark's channel. Give him a visit. I think you're really going to like the content over there. Definitely subscribe and give him a thumbs up on this video. We had a lot of fun making it for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching it.
one of the interesting things that I really loved about today is not only trying a 4570, because I've never shot a 4570 before.
And probably won't again.
It probably won't again.
And be careful if you're going to use a 4570 for home protection, because unless you need to shoot a bad guy in your neighbor's house or the house on the other side of your neighbor's house, you're probably a little overkill on that 4570. So
it could do the Indiana Jones thing where there's like 3 bad guys in a
yeah,
row.
yeah, take them all down, shoot a bad guy through your refrigerator,
Yeah, that's exactly
on the other
right.
side of your car, through your engine block. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you very much, David, Nick Ross, and Skeeter McNeil, for sending in those awesome creations. I had a fun time shooting them out here. I am no scientist. This was not a scientific test, but it was just a little demonstration of what those massive 4570 rounds will do. As always, remember, it's crazy times out there. I want you guys to stay safe, and I want you to stay armed where legally allowed to do so. And until next video, OG out.